At Bendigo Bank, we like to help communities grow. We concentrate on delivering you great products and services.
I like you so very much. So much, in fact, I gotta wake you up. It's not that I have words.
Because we know that if you grow, the community will grow with you. At the Bendigo, it starts with you.
Welcome back to the Geelong Cricket Show as we turn our attention to the local scene. And, well, our results so far in our ground survey. Rawlo 7 at bigpond.com is the address to send it to, which will appear on the screen. There we go. Make a note of it. Whip in your thoughts on where you feel the Geelong Cricket Association Division 1 Grand Final should or may be held in your personal view. At this stage, the survey continues to rise in numbers. We're over the 50 mark, and suggestions continue. Newtown and Chewell, Stinton Oval still remains a firm favourite. Geelong Cricket Ground, in brackets if available, and South Barwon have entered into the equation after our comments last week. And it'll be appropriate now that we've got the president of the South Barwon Cricket Club as our guest this morning to ask his views on the South Barwon Cricket Ground, because no doubt, Darren, you feel it's and it is in tremendous condition.
Yeah, like I suppose in regards, if you look at the turf wicket squares, South Barwon would clearly be one of the top two in the region. With our Cooch wickets that have been in for about 3 or 4 years, they've really, hard to produce a bad wicket there now. And as you can see from the weekend's results, I think we probably produced a pretty fair wicket as well. We've allowed Belfast still to make a big score, 350, which is also to do with the outfield as well. Our outfield is Kaikuya, but the council have now started to cut that short with a cylinder mower, which obviously speeds things up a bit. And the only issue with our ground at the moment is the run-ups at the clubroom end. Over the Christmas break, the club's going to fix that up with laying new Kaikuya Cooch there. So, but in regards to the other grounds there, Newtown's Oval, the outfield is superb. They've got the electronic scoreboard, sort of creates a good atmosphere there. The only issue or the only downside of their wicket table at the moment is the lack of grass on there. So maybe by the March time that may have improved, but that's sort of my thoughts on those grounds.
As we see some great footage at the present time and of the 2020 game that was held down at the Geelong Cricket Ground last weekend. It was a local match in the continuing Victorian Cricket Association, or the Victorian Challenge as far as 2020 is concerned. A big crowd, which was terrific to see. South Barwon taking on Grovedale, perennial neighbours, perennial rivals. And Darren, South Barwon able to take out the 2020 game 6 for 150, with your brother Brad Hornstein making 71 not out of 46 balls. Grovedale in reply for 115, but a terrific crowd down there and a really inspiring game.
It was really good to be a part of that type of cricket. Like the last few years, we're seeing it grow on the international scene, the IPL, the ICL. So as a local cricket, we don't get much of it. Even though the club's not taking it as the main competition that we're trying to win, but it was really good to sort of be involved in that competition. And once you sort of get playing it, it's enjoyable. Regardless of if you're a batsman or a bowler, it sort of gives you a chance to get some cheap wickets and also, go out there and throw the bat a bit. So I think it's a good concept, and it's hopefully the GCA can sort of take that on next season.
And for those of our viewers that were looking at the Geelong Advertiser, page 44 last Monday, which had the headline, Hornstein's do job for Swans. The lovely big photograph there that indicates Brad Hornstein putting plenty of effort into his hit, but kept his eye on its flight path, was actually David Linky from South Barwon. I'm sure Brad would have enjoyed that one, Darren.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a few fines coming out of that weekend's article today when we talk about the game. So, Dave Linky's sort of one of our young guys that sort of come on. He's a bit awkward looking, big, tall left-hander. So, I'm not sure how the Addy made that mistake, but it's happened.
Just going back on your comment you made a moment ago about the 2020 concept being introduced into the GCA next season. Already we're playing how many games, Darren?
13.
13. Where do you see the 2020 fitting into the... And would that be like a separate competition again?
Yeah, well, that's the main thing there is you can't... Like, people don't want to play every single Sunday. I know you've done it. I know you've done it this year, and I think that's probably been detrimental to your side's forms this year with, a lot of the older guys in your team having to play Sunday front up, after probably Saturday watching cricket. So it's not the best thing, but maybe one of the things they could do is possibly have the early rounds done on a weeknight, substitute training, say start at 4:30, 5 o'clock, get through those rounds, and if you sort of cut out the teams fairly quickly, and then maybe the final rounds would be your Sunday showpiece, maybe January or something like that.
I think a twilight competition is the go. I think coming to a ground at say 5 o'clock after work, Graham, would work tremendously well. Maybe 6 o'clock so everyone can get there.
Darren, South Barwon so far this season sitting in third position on the ladder. You've only dropped the one game, which was your last round. A solid season so far.
After last season's, I suppose, disappointment of losing the grand final, we were pretty focused on trying to maintain momentum and sort of keep things going. So the early rounds we got off to a good start, and the only disappointing thing recently has been Brett's suspension, 3-game suspension. So Brett knows he's done the wrong thing. The club knows he's done the wrong thing. We just need to keep going forward as much as we can, and then hopefully when Brett comes back, he can be the premier bowler in Geelong, and the challenge is down for him to make sure he concentrates on his bowling. And if he does that, I'm sure we'll be a big show come the finals time.
You actually have 3 massive games coming up without Anderton. Now, you've already lost to Bellpost Hill, who I wouldn't see as being a huge threat, but they are improving. You could lose your next 3 games.
I suppose that's a possibility, but it's up to the other guys in the team to sort of to lift a bit more. Like we need Brett for his bowling, so if we can build some big scores like we have been, then hopefully we can sort of tie some teams up. But we play Lara, St Joseph's, and then Grovedale. So those teams are no pushovers. So it's going to be very tough.
If you lose your next 3 and we win our next 3, we're level with them. There you go.
Hopeful thinking from Dean Armstrong. Yes, the man who couldn't talk at the start of the game because he'd lost his lion's roar. Now, thanks to our special guest this morning, and we hope you've enjoyed the Geelong Cricket Show. Congratulations to Heighton's Brett Howard for his 500th wicket for the Heighton Heat last week in his 237th game.
Heighton Heat?
The Heighton Heat.
I've heard other...
Oh, there's a group up there known as the Heighton Holics, but they've got nothing to do with the Heighton Heat. But congratulations to Brett Howard. And don't forget, next week we'll be looking at the Barwon Rockets under 18, under 16 and under 14 sides will be playing in the state championships in January. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend. 11 o'clock, the start of Premier Cricket, Geelong versus Richmond, and this afternoon GCA Division 1, 2 and 3. Until next week, Rollo saying, catch ya.
At Bendigo Bank, we like to help communities grow. We concentrate on delivering you great products and services.
I like you so very much. So much, in fact, I gotta wake you up. It's not that I have words.
Because we know that if you grow, the community will grow with you. At the Bendigo, it starts with you.